Sex and Gender Unlinked: The Behavioral, Cultural, and Psychological Qualities Associated with the Two Genders, Associated with the Two Most Common Biological Sexes, and How These Qualities Prove that There Must Be More Than Two Genders. There are many behavioral traits common in each gender associated with the two common biological sexes. For example, men are often better at mental rotation. Mental rotation is the ability to move a 3D or 2D object in their mind and rotate it to predict how it will look from different perspectives. Men also usually thrive at targeting. Targeting is choosing one specific topic to focus all attention on. This is a positive trait because it often eliminates distractions and topics that don't need as much attention. On the other hand, women often thrive in spatial location memory. Spatial location memory is the ability to remember your surroundings and where you relate to them. Another topic women are more apt to thrive in is spatial working memory. Spatial working memory is the ability to remember what is around you spatially. In the photos below, it shows that fixation is where you are looking. The encoding period shows the pattern that you're supposed to remember while still focusing on the plus in the middle. The maintenance period is the period in between the encoding and retrieval period where there is space and time to forget. The retrieval period is when you place the blocks where you remember them sitting originally. And it is shown that women often thrive in these locations. Other differences between men and women are how they react with their work environment. Men typically gain experience faster and have higher benefits, while women have a better work-to-life balance, work closer to home, like to work more, and fit the skills required for the job. This may be because women typically prioritize enjoyment of life over money. This concept of women preferring home life to work may have originated in gender roles. Original gender roles in Western culture were set that women were to stay home and raise and feed the children, where men were the breadwinners and earned all the money. This persists in the habits that men and women have in work today. Another major difference between men and women is that men are typically more lateralized than women. Lateralization is the use of one half of your brain at a time. Typically, the left hemisphere is used for sensory stimulus from right side of the body, motor control of right side of the body, speech, language, and comprehension, analysis and calculations, time and sequencing, recognition of words, letters, and numbers, while the right hemisphere is sensory stimulus from the left side of the body, motor control of the body on the left side of the body, creativity, spatial ability, context and perception, and recognition of faces, places, and objects. In context, this means that when men think about analysis and calculation, time and sequencing, recognitions of words, letters, and numbers, they are only using the left hemisphere. While women are more likely to use both hemispheres to solve problems. So, why does it matter? Why does sex not determine gender? Well, first, we have to tell the difference between sex and gender. Sex is defined as either of the two major forms of individuals that occur in many species and that are distinguished respectively as male or female, especially on the basis of their reproductive organs and structures. An emphasis on organs and structures. while gender is defined as the behavioral, cultural, or psychological traits typically associated with one's sex. These are very different because one is the cultural and mental traits, while the other is the physical organs and structures. This means that if one shares the behavioral, cultural, and psychological traits associated with the gender that they are not physically the same as, the gender will still align with the traits that they are psychologically the same as. This is shown especially in the lateralization of trans men who have transitioned from women to men. The brain works in the same way as you would typically find in a cis man and is more similar to cis men than cis women. There are many psychological, cultural, and physiological traits that people can express that were not gone over in this presentation. And based on the vast number of traits, most people do not express all of the traits that are typical for that one particular gender. When someone expresses behavioral or psychological traits that don't align with either of the two genders that are associated with the two biological sexes, this leads to people identifying as non-binary. Here are some questions or opposing viewpoints to this view. Someone may say that because there are no gender roles for non-binary individuals in Western culture, and culture is an important part of gender, wouldn't there be no genders outside the binary? This viewpoint is flawed because outside of Western culture, there are many cultures who widely accept more than two genders. It also assumes that gender roles are a necessary part of life. If there were no gender roles, men could maintain a better work-to-life balance. They could work closer to home, they could enjoy work more, and they could fit the skills in their job like women currently do, while women would gain experience faster and have higher benefits than they currently do. Another opposing viewpoint may say that the common qualities attributed to each gender are based off the two biological sexes, and therefore there should also only be two biological genders. This viewpoint is flawed because it underestimates the vast number of traits that are associated with each gender. Such a high number of traits, there would be no way for someone who doesn't identify with a vast majority of either qualities for either of the biological sexes to choose between the two sexes.
Men and women. The song is called Men and Women. Men are like vows, 'cause they are easily broken. Oh yeah. Women are like cows, because they both have vaginas. Men are like muzzles, because they'll try to shut you up. Oh yeah. Women are like puzzles, because prior to 1920, neither had the right to vote. Puzzles still don't. A man is an eagle, yeah, a woman is a dove. Women can fake orgasms, but men can fake love. Women are like fingers and toes, 'cause they're easy to count on. cute.